The Bombay Stock Exchange issued a certification yesterday in which they revised the circuit limit for 646 stocks. Now, most of these stocks actually saw an upgrade from their current circuit limit to the existing one, which comes into effect as of today itself. Now, out of the 646 stocks, the ones that were revised from 2% to 5% were 97 stocks. From 5% to 2% were just 3 stocks, and then you had the bulk of the portion that was revised from 5% to 10%, which were 343 stocks. The ones that got revised from 5% to 20% were 16 stocks, and from 10% to 5% were just about 3 stocks once again. And then you had from 10% to 20%, which had once again a significant portion of 183 stocks, while there was just one stock that was revised from 20 to 10%. Now, amongst these 646 stocks, there were some notable names that we picked up. Let me highlight some of them for you. First, starting off with the key stocks that were revised from 5% to 10%. You had Adani Power along with AFL India that was revised, and then you had Edelweiss Financial Services also. All 3 stocks made it from 5% to 10%. Interestingly, 2 groups stand out over here. One is the Future Group and the other one is the ADAG Group. You had Future Consumer, Future Enterprises, Future Lifestyle and Future Retail. All of these stocks were revised from 5% to 10%. While the ADAG stocks include Reliance Capital, Reliance Home Finance, Reliance Infrastructure, Reliance Power also being revised from 5% to 10%. The other notable names that were featured in this list were J&K Bank, Suzlon Energy as well as Tejas Networks that were also revised from 5 to 10%. Now, moving on to the stocks that were revised from 5% to 20%, you had Godavari Power and Ispat that was revised from 5 to 20, Indocount Industries along with Intellect Design Arena also from 5 to 20, and then you had Welspun India, which was also revised from 5 to 20. But the most interesting name in this list was Yes Bank, which also got revised from 5% circuit limit to 20% as of today's trading session. Some of the key stocks that were revised from 10 to 20%. Now, 2 of them over here featured, which is the recent IPOs that we've had. One is Burger King India from 10 to 20%, and then you had Root Mobile also, which featured in this list from 10 to 20%, along with some of the other names like Advanced Enzymes, Alok Industries, Equitas Holdings, GMM Pfaudler, Graphite India also featured in this list of 10 to 20%. Then you had some other metal names like Hindustan Copper, some of the chemical names like JB Chemicals and Pharmaceuticals, Jubilant Industries, along with Ramco Systems, Rail Vikas Nigam, Root Mobile, the one that I just mentioned. Then you had one of the PSU companies to feature in this list, which is Shipping Corporation of India, 10% to 20%. One of the airline stocks, that is SpiceJet, once again revised from 10 to 20%. Tata Communications also from 10 to 20%. And lastly, you had Wockhardt, which was also revised from a circuit limit of 10% to 20% effective today.